everybody, my name is Ken Howell, and this is my intro into public speaking. I want to welcome everybody to this class, and hopefully everybody has an enjoyable time. In this course, in this speech, I'm going to cover my birth and my early childhood. I'm going to move on to where I was growing up and why I joined the military, my career in the military, where I've been and what I've seen, why I chose the AMU in my education, and then cover my family, and then what the future holds for me, and then I'll wrap it up. I was born on March 4th, 1972, Pisces. I was born overseas. My father was in the military at Frankfurt Rhein-Main Hospital. He was in the Army, first sergeant, so that's pretty much what I grew up with, was yelling and screaming, like you see the first sergeant on the TV commercials. That's pretty much how my household was run. Being that he was in the Army, first sergeant, we moved around a lot. We moved to Fort Campbell, Kentucky, Fort Benning, Georgia, Fort Lewis, Washington is just some of the places I remember. Fort Lewis I remember specifically because I was there. I was 10 years old, and I was helping my father build a fence in the backyard, and we received a telephone call from my brother's camp that he had a seizure in the water and passed away. And at the time, I was so mad at him because here I was building a fence in the backyard, and he got to go away for summer camp. But that tragedy did hit our family. It kind of forced my father to retire, and he moved us to Orlando, Florida with the rest of his family. And that's pretty much where I grew up since the 6th grade. High school, I played on the softball or the baseball team. I played football. I basically graduated in 1991, which my 20-year reunion is coming up here June 17th down there in Cocoa Beach. Which is funny, is where the story of the Right Stuff is taking place. And if you read the chapter on the Cape, I don't agree with it being the poor man for Port Canaveral compared to Miami. I had a house there. I didn't think it was so cheap, but you know, I guess back in 1950 it was cheap compared to Miami and Palm Bay. Basically, my cousin was joining the Air Force. He was about a year older than I was. I was delivering pizzas for Domino's Pizza, and I decided that wasn't a good enough job to have growing up. I had a girlfriend at the time, and you know how that thing happens, and then you have a kid on the way, so I decided to join the military back in 27 May 1992, which I'm coming up also on my 19th anniversary in the military, so that means I got a couple years left. But I joined the Air Force, and they sent me off to my first base was Homestead down in Miami. I was there exactly when Hurricane Andrew came through and blew it away. So I was there for about 2 weeks. I didn't really get to enjoy the place. And they sent me up here to Moody Air Force Base, Georgia, which is odd because that's where I'm at now. So I figured what comes around goes around in the military. My first time I was at Moody for a year. I was an ammo guy doing munition storage. The story is that I was driving a truck one day, and I had a box of grenades fall off the back end, and it's supposed to be an explosive mishap, but me not knowing any different, I just threw all the grenades in a box and took them back and said, "Hey, can you rebox this back up for me?" I dropped them off the truck. That was my first learning experience in ammo. I guess that's a no-no. From there I went on to Kunsan Air Base in South Korea. I spent a year there. The stories are kind of true. You do spend half your time drunk and half time asleep. So technically, your year assignment there, you're only about 6 months coherent. From there, I grabbed my family, my new son, 8 months old, and we all moved to Aviano Air Base, Italy. At that time, I was a senior airman, and they were doing Bosnia and all that deny flight joint endeavor, so I was working 6 days a week, 12 hours a day. Seemed to use up a lot of my time. But we did get out, and we did get to see some interesting history. We got to see Rome, Venice, Greece, and Pisa, the Leaning Tower. We have that picture where you're standing up trying to hold it up, which is pretty neat. From there, the military sent us to South Dakota, Rapid City at Ellsworth Air Force Base. At the time, I didn't know where it was at and had to look it up on the map. I'll let you know that South Dakota is not in the south. It is not going to be warm. Our first day there was the winter days, and it was negative 41 degrees, and me and my wife, being both from Florida, hated it. But we grew to love it, and we spent 8 years there. They had Deadwood, which is the HBO series. If you've seen a little casino town, the Sturgis Motorcycle Rally comes through every year around August. Black Hill is really enjoyable. They have a lot of lakes, a lot of fishing, a lot of hunting, and it does get to about 100 in the summertime. So all in all, we spent 8 years there. We loved it, but it was time for us to move, and the military sent us to Turkey Air Base Incirlik, and we spent 2 years there. Basically, it was pretty slow there. It was only a C-130 hub, C-130 aircraft coming in now. My wife worked at the BX, and I was working, 5 days a week, which is a pretty good schedule we had there. All in all, I guess we just drifted apart in our lives. So when we left Turkey, we decided to get a divorce, and I came back right around to Moody. So with that divorce, I had a lot of free time. She had the kids down in Florida, and I decided to take school with AMU. I was taking 1 or 2 classes every term. The military is pressuring you for the whole CCF degree, and with me taking this public speaking course, I will have my CCF done, my Community College of the Air Force degree done in Applied Science, and I also am taking English 102 this term, which has helped out my public speaking, and public speaking has helped out my English. So I'll also have my General Education degree knocked out, both here at the end of June, hopefully. The military was giving me the $4,500 for education, so I decided to use it and take it, and use it wisely. With me only having a couple more years in the Air Force, I figured I need an exit strategy, and they say education helps you on the outside in a degree. So hopefully I can knock these 2 degrees out and then move on with that. Like I was talking about my family, I married my high school sweetheart when I was 20, and then I joined the military when I was 21. We basically drifted apart throughout our lives, but we did get 3 wonderful boys. My oldest one, Jonathan, 17, who just went to his prom, and I got some nice pictures of that. And then my youngest one, Garrett, who's pretty much the clown of the family, I guess. And then my middle child, Zachary, who lives basically for the Xbox 360. And we got him that Kinect thing so he can move around and dance and all that on television. I did meet a wonderful girl here in Valdosta. Her name's Valerie. She just finished her RN program on the 9th, or the 5th of May. So we were deciding what we're going to do with our future together. I know she's a good woman because I know the last one I had wasn't so good. So when you have a good one, you know when you had a bad one, you know you got a good one. So we're seeing what the future holds for her, and then what I'm going to do with my future, and we're going to go from there. So today, just to wrap it up, we talked about my early childhood and birth. We talked about me growing up and joining the military and the places I've been and seen and gone, why I joined AMU, and my family and my future. Thank you for this speech time, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.